At the end of President Trump's speech last night, which was widely greeted in the media as unhinged and full of lies, the former director of national intelligence, James Clapper, said this.
I really question his ability to, his fitness to be in this office, having some understanding of the levers that a president can exercise. I worry about, frankly, the access to nuclear codes. If he, in a fit of pique, he decides to do something about Kim Jong-un, there's actually very little to stop him.
Joining us now, John McLaughlin, the former acting director of the CIA, a 32-year veteran of the CIA, and he's now an MSNBC national security analyst. And John, your reaction to what Director Clapper said?
Well, I understand where Jim Clapper is coming from, and I think here is where he's coming from. People like Jim Clapper and myself have worked for a lot of presidents, and there are some qualities you see in a president that I've seen in every president that are lacking in this one. The presidents I've known have been calm and controlled in crisis. They have been able to unite the country even when their personal popularity has been down, and they have taken responsibility for things even when something that's happened is not directly their fault. On the nuclear codes, and I don't see those qualities in the way this president behaves in that rant, sort of self-pitying rant that we heard last night. What Director Clapper is referring to on the nuclear codes is that there is a two-person rule. That is, if the president gives an order for a nuclear attack, the Secretary of Defense is in the loop and has the opportunity to concur, but does not have the legal authority to veto a presidential decision. But thankfully, there is a second person in the loop, and he would have the opportunity to counsel, but he does not have the legal authority to veto.
Talk about how tense the decision can be if what we're talking about is a retaliatory nuclear strike. And so if there is something detected coming our way from North Korea or elsewhere, how many minutes does the president have to make a decision about what to do?
Well, it varies, of course, with the range of an incoming missile and the circumstances completely. There have been instances in which secretaries of defense have been awakened in the middle of the night. With, in 1979, Secretary Perry talks about this, being awakened in the middle of the night with a report that 200 Soviet missiles were heading toward the United States. It turns out to have been a computer glitch of some sort and a false report, but he had only minutes to figure that out. If there are missiles coming from as far away as the Soviet Union, they take about 35 minutes to reach us. And I suspect in the case of North Korea, although this is not yet established, but I'm guessing that the time would be about 35 minutes. And you would have, I think, warning time of, I'm going to guess now, maybe 20 minutes of that time, but you would detect their launch rather quickly.
In Secretary Perry's and others' memory of the false alarms, one thing they were concerned about was that they were down to a window of about 6 minutes to have to make the decision about launching a retaliatory strike, because there's the question. So it's not that you can just wait as those things are flying. You've got to decide exactly how to retaliate. And that's where all the pressure is. And they could have retaliated and discovered after the fact that it was a false alarm. That's the ultimate danger of the false alarm.
Yes, it is. It's the ultimate danger of it, and you don't have, there's only certain times in that sequence when your retaliation can be meaningful. And you also have, of course, in the mix of things here, missile defense, which is not elaborately tested or perfectly proven for intercontinental ballistic missiles. So you've got that in the mix, too. It's a complicated, it's not a situation you ever want to get into, particularly with someone who is not particularly calm and controlled and calm in crisis.
It is the most superhuman test of human judgment that we could possibly imagine, and that judgment would now rest with Donald Trump. John McLaughlin, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Lawrence.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.